Welcome, future calculus students. So looking again at another rule that you learned in pre-calculus honors is the quotient rule. And this is a rule that we use when we're taking the derivative of a function divided by another function. So the way the derivative rule works for the quotient rule is you take f prime, the upper function, derivative times the lower function minus the upper function times the derivative of the bottom function over g squared. So this is the rule you're going to see in a textbook. If you look up online, this is what you'll find. And so if we do an example applying this derivative, applying this rule, the quotient rule, let's say we have the function 3x squared over cosine of x. Well, first thing we would want to do is identify which is our upper function, f, and which is our lower function, g, and we would then apply this rule. So if we go from identifying our upper and lower functions, we would get the derivative of 3x squared is 6x times g, which is cosine of x, minus f, which is 3x squared, times negative sine of x, which is the derivative of cosine, all over cosine squared, our bottom function squared. And if we simplify this, we could write this 6x cosine x plus 3x squared sine x all over cosine squared x. Again, it's plus because we have a negative here and we have another negative here. All right, well, there is another way to do this like we did with the product rule. And the nice thing is it uses the same table ribbon method. So if you want to do this a different way that keeps your work nicely organized, again, if we look at the same problem, we are going to use the table and ribbon method. So again, you identify your upper function on one side, your lower function on the other, and then you take the derivatives right below. And again, the reason I like this method is just keeps everything organized. A lot of times when you're doing this math at this level, it's easy to get lost in what you're trying to do. And so a table just keeps the things organized for you. So if I draw my table, I'm going to identify my f and my upper function and lower function. 3x squared is on top. Cosine of x is at the bottom, so I'm going to write each of those next to each other and then take their derivatives individually. So the derivative of 3x squared is 6x, the derivative of cosine is negative sine x, and like before, we are going to use the ribbon method. The ribbon method works by taking these two, multiplying them, and this time instead of adding like we did in the product rule, we are going to subtract the product of these two. So again, it's going to be this times this minus this times this. That is where the ribbon comes in. So if we do that, we end up with the exact same answer we ended up at the top with. It's just a way to keep your work organized. So if you make an error, it's really easy to get lost with all the positivity, negativity signs that come with using the product rule or quotient rule with higher with more complicated expressions and functions. By doing it like this, you're easily being able to see, are you taking the derivative correctly? And then you're just applying it using this ribbon or using the quotient rule, which is the derivative of the first times the second minus the first times the derivative of the second. It's just a way to keep things organized. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good rest of your day.